Well, I don't get beat on hands, knees, and knees.
Yeah.
That's a scary step.
I just can't see.
If you remained anonymous enough, you could just kind of wait for everybody to get gone and just stay here.
As long as it was the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have to take your pack off in that other?
I did take it off.
Yeah, because I took mine off and I thought, I wonder if he took his off.
I didn't know if I would have to, but I did anyway.
When I got to the ladder, I did.
In the very middle of that roof would have been an opening with a ladder in it that you use to climb around. And down on the bottom you see a fire hearth that would have been burning. However, this fire hearth presents a problem. If that fire is burning and your only source of ventilation is that hole on top, you're going to die. It'll suffocate you. But again, these people are engineers. They know exactly how to deal with these problems. They build a ventilation shaft. So what happens is as that hot air and smoke rises up and out, cold air gets pulled down by convection into the kiva. Absolutely brilliant. But it does present another problem. If you have air flowing directly on your fire, it burns too hot. You start to consume more resources. You get more oxygen and wood. So they build deflector walls. That way, as that air comes down, it hits that and circulates around. And what they've done here is create an incredibly well-engineered, efficient, insulated place to heat. Indeed, a lot more easy to heat than that. And in part, that's what we know they use these for. The kiva is a winter home. It's a place to keep warm in the winter because it's a lot easier to keep it warm. But the kiva has another element to it, and I always preface this part of my discussion. Because what I'm going to be talking about is some of the religious views people go along with the kiva. But these are not my religious views. I don't practice the Pueblo religion, so keep in mind, what I am telling you about is a very, very small part of a religious system that stretches back in time long before anybody even thought about building a balcony house, and is still practiced to this day. It looks a little bit differently than it did in the 1200s. The Catholic Church looks a little bit differently today than it did in the 1200s. But it is the same religion, still practiced, and it's just a very small part that I'm talking about. And I start off with the sipapo, with a small hole off to the side of the kiva. If you guys are looking into this one, it's up top. And that hole there, sipapu, which is a Hopi word, there are other names for it in other languages, represents part of their creation story. So for the Pueblo people, this is not the first world that they existed in. In fact, there are many worlds below us. And each time they traveled up through a world, stopped there for a while, and then moved on until they got to here. When they emerged from the sipapu translates literally to place of emergence. They realized this was the place they were going to stay because it was here that they were supposed to look for their place of balance. A place where they could live in harmony with their environment. And so for the Pueblo person, it's not just a hole in the ground. It's a symbol. It tells them a little bit about where they came from and why they're here. And if we continue to look at the broader picture of the kiva, we see this story continuing. Because here, you've got the sipapu. And underneath it, all the worlds they traveled through to get here. By the way, that world right underneath us most frequently, the lake world. Kind of tells you how important water is. On top of the roof, you have this world where they live and work on a daily basis. And in between the two, you have the kiva, a place set aside, a place for everyday normal activity like living in during the winter, weaving clothing, grinding corn. But also a place to practice your deeply held spiritual beliefs, to understand the world around you a little bit more, and to know why you're here in the first place. And that again, that's meaning. Indeed, you could make the argument that that's perhaps some of the most powerful meaning humans find. And we see that right here. It's that last layer of meaning we can see within the balcony house. But at this point, I want to kick it back to us. Why on earth did you guys come down here today? What made you decide it would be fun to climb a 32-foot tall ladder and crawl through a tunnel the size of a ranger's hat? What do you think?
To appreciate someone else's culture.
To appreciate someone else's culture. Fantastic. What else? Somebody's got something, I know you do.
Experience history.
To experience history. To see something from the past. Because when you're talking 800 years ago, that's pretty good for North America, at least as far as American civilization is concerned. What else? One more. Someone's got it in. To see how they lived. To experience a different way of life. To get a feel for a place. A feel you just don't get looking at pictures. How many of you guys came down here because this was the only tour that in the time slots you could take it? That's okay. That is perfectly okay. But now I need a volunteer. Do me a favor. Out of all of the reasons we just heard people say they came down here, tell me which ones are right and which ones are wrong. That. That to me is the answer to that question we started out with. What makes a place meaningful? There is no one answer. Different places have different meanings to different people. And even the same place can have multiple meanings built within it. It also, to me, tells me a little bit about why we protect the national parks. It's not just because they're a beautiful place to take photos of. It's because they give us the opportunity to learn lessons. Lessons that go far beyond the park boundaries. And perhaps the lesson that Balcony House is trying to teach us, meaning is fluid. And just because a place doesn't mean something to you, doesn't indicate that it doesn't have meaning for someone else. And that deserves a little respect. And so to wrap up, I want to leave you guys with a challenge. As you guys go on your travels, heading on back home or wherever you're heading to next, and you find yourself in an area that you're just passing through, trying to make it on by, stop. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, what might this place mean to someone else? Because even if you don't manage to come up with an answer, you might just find it changes the way you look at the world a little bit. Thank you guys very much. We are going to keep on moving that way. Before you guys move, take a look at this room marked number 24. Up on the top of that wall, you'll see some of the original plaster still on there with a red line called a dado painted in it. On top of the dado are some peak images. Now very interestingly, if you stick your arm out in line with those peaks and turn, you'll see they happen to be just on line with the plot of mountains on the horizon. One of those things we don't know if it had meaning to someone, but it very well might have. So take a look at that as you go by. You guys are going to continue along the front of the building.
I know people see it over there. You've been here before? Lots of times.
Keep on gathering this way, folks. They might get some. example of a couple of towing handles on the other side of the tunnel. So that can be kind of difficult, having a ladder that stretches over a 60-foot long section of cliff. So if there's nowhere to set the base of another ladder, then you're going to have to make it long enough to stretch the whole gap. The towing handle could wind up being more efficient. Not a lot. Now they make sure we have people in it. Back in Cliff Palace, there's a building blocks sitting on top of the big boulder crack. Well, for the park service went under there to try and short it up. They found a bunch of walls with weather. They do some stabilization, but not a lot. And it's important, probably not. It is just more efficient. This is one of those things that we take a look at and we think, wow, this is pretty crazy, them climbing up and down there. But really, I take one of us, I stick us down here and say, climb up and down. You say, you look at me and say, you're a crazy man. That's a death trap. I think when regular people stick them on a street corner in New York City and say, hey, cross the street, they're going to look at me and say, you're a crazy man. That's a death trap. New Yorkers do that. Yeah. I grew up there. All right, guys, so we are going to start through the tunnel now. Go through the tunnel however you need to. Some people got to angle their shoulders, some people got to angle their hips. If you can stand on top of your own head and make it through that tunnel, you really don't care. As long as you make it through it. Keep in mind, no one's ever actually gotten stuck. The only times we've had problems, it's been a mental thing. People freaked out. So I got this great piece of advice from my sister the other day. She said, smell the roses, blow out the candles, and say everything's going to be okay.
Is this for drainage over there?
This is for drainage, and that was put in by the people. So, yeah, just take it easy, be calm. You can see light the whole way, so you'll be fine. And I do like to remind people, because I do have to be the first one through the tunnel. It is a federal. That is
So badly for that.
So it might happen. Oh, I can go. Maybe after they get married. Oh, no.
They were getting to what happened when that happened.
And then her sister's boyfriend.
And they knew.
All right, last little bit on the way out now. I love this big slab right here of rock. It's probably only about 80 tons. And they got it propped up, of course, with those little guys right there. That'll hold it. Yep, that'll hold it.
You never take them by yourself.
We're waiting to go through the tunnel out of here.
I had to grab crazy eyes from hospital photos. Like the ones that Alanites take with the big whiskey heads.
You go first. I should get a couple of pretty good shots that way. Yeah.
I'm thinking I have to take my hat off before.
I don't know. It's gonna hang.
Dang, I can't see. Dang. Well, boy, and you don't get unless your irises open up.
Nice breeze coming through
Did you
here.
hear what he said about the ones, the rock that you left out of the They do that with a small hammer. Yeah, you're gonna break them and use a big hammer on them to get it in more detail and to get it into small. Whatever, they make a small hammer.
Put my pack back on. I don't think I've had two here.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Jim. Let me try to roll it up.
Yeah, I remember pictures of me from this one last time.
Yeah?
I took from behind.
You're welcome.
At least you don't have a dress on.
Yeah.
I'm good. And Vicky's
I've
okay
seen
too.
Yelp reviews that are saying, well, the tour is great, but all my photos were of people's butts. Maybe you should have thought about that. It's not our fault.
It's not your fault that people choose to wear what they wear when they go to a party.
Anybody behind you guys?
One guy. So as a ranger, are you allowed in just free exploring and
No.
no?
I'm allowed in the same place as you are.
That sucks.
This is my second season here. I worked at a little place called El Morro National Monument for a season down in New Mexico, and then I volunteered for a season at Rocky Mountain National Park.
I had a buddy that did Rocky Mountain National Park for a while. He was a ranger for a little bit back in the 80s. Had to hike Longs Peak a lot.
Oh, I would love that rain here.
I'll wait.
You guys are all fine. There's all those people above us anyway. You're okay.
These are some sweet steps. I'm digging it. So is my dinner.
I used to do a lot of rock climbing. I would have loved to have had some steps like this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. You ever go to Joshua Tree?
No, ma'am, I never did that. Just lots of no-name places in southeastern New Mexico and southeastern Utah.
Oh, you don't mind? Me too.
No, we can't even go up yet, so you're fine.
Yeah, we go to a Joshua Tree often, but I've never done any rock climbing. I watched a lot of people do it.
Boss, but that tunnel was tall enough for me to like kind of stand up in.
That's what you're saying. That is for us shorties.
During the
Which was nice, I
elevation.
just took off my backpack.
Yeah.
My backpack was like,
That's quite a view.
So before this was national, what was happening with it beforehand?
People were coming up here and looting it. Used to be a Sunday activity. Right on up into Mesa Verde, find some cool stuff, head back home. It's actually in part Mesa Verde that creates the Antiquities Act, which protects places like this.
Dad, you're gonna get glared at.
Maybe not.
Daddy, smile for Ella.
Hi, Ella.
I'm not videoing.
Oh.
I was taking a picture. I was done for 3 million.
And we are out.